So this is a quick summary video to show you the modifications I've made to my Ranger for the purposes of off-road touring and for towing. Now I will be making more detailed videos about every modification, going into the pros and the cons and the different options you've got for each particular scenario and whether or not you should choose them for your particular needs, but this is just a quick overview. Let's start with the front of the car, and that's going to be with the bull bar. There's a few different reasons to fit a bull bar. First one is obviously animal protection, but the main one for me is actually off-roading, and that's improving the approach angle here, which is important off-road. Also exposes these recovery points nicely, and it also offers some protection when if a log or stick flicks up, then it's going to hit metal, and also if the side of the car hits a rock, as in fact it has done already over here, and I've touched it up with just a bit of black paint and it hasn't really damaged anything at all, it's just scraped. It's also a really good mounting point, so this is where I would put my sand flag. We've got a driving light over here and we've got a winch, so that's 3 accessories. The driving light, I think that's a really good accessory if you're going to be doing any form of driving at night in rural roads. Certainly as eyesight gets older, you can't see it at night as well, and that supplements the headlights pretty well, makes a huge difference. The winch, that is really handy for obviously self-extraction, but also stabilizing the vehicle on a hill. If you need to change a tire, you can move things out of the way like rocks or trees, and you can even bent parts back into shape as well. So lots of reasons to have a winch, and a modern bar like this doesn't interfere with the OEM camera over here and the radar, etc., which is what you want, and it is of course airbag compatible. Now if we move around here, we've got a Snorkel. Now the Ranger's got a pretty good wading depth of around 800 mil, which is about here, but you might go with water a lot deeper than that, and it's good to know that no matter what, no air is going to get inside the engine unless it gets, no water is going to get inside the engine unless it gets up to this point, and things have gone really wrong if I've got the water above that point. I will go into more detail on this, but let's just say Safari are a little bit optimistic about how little noise this makes. Then we've got towing mirrors over here. These are clear view next gens. They pull out so that when you're towing a wider trailer like my caravan, I can get to them and back, and they just push back in, which is pretty good. And then around here, UHF antenna. Now you don't want to be mounting your UHF antenna down here because that's too low. When it comes to UHF, height is might. You want it as high as you can, and also then it's blocked by a large part of the car. So up here is a much better place for it, with a bonnet strut mount, and that's ideal. It also keeps it a bit inboard as well, so I do like that. There's a clear view. Now down here we've got tyres, so change the tyres, of course light truck construction tyres in an all-terrain pattern, just to give me a bit of extra grip on road. These are Yokohama GO18s. They're actually an on-road improvement from the stock tyre, which is pretty ordinary, so I like them. So far so good. Over here we've got side rails. I will talk about the difference between side rails and side steps and rock sliders, but I've gone for side rails for these to give me some protection. As you can see, they're a bit scratched up already. I need to repaint some of that. The wheels are stock standard, so you can see that they're already scratched up a bit around here because I've been out on the rocks, but you can also see that the tyre is not damaged either. I've just not seen any need to change the wheels. I know it's a popular thing to do and you can do it for looks, but I don't think there's a functional reason to do it. Now I do have an air compressor, and that is, oops, seat belt needs to, there we go. So the air compressor's right here, and that just lives, I can switch it on and on like that when the engine's running, and what that means is that I can easily get to my air compressor. It's not drawing in dirty air, and it's accessible to everywhere that I need it to be. Now the car is a non-standard colour. and that's part of that XLT spec I have created for Ford. You're welcome. It's vinyl wrap, and I'm going to be going into the pros and the cons of vinyl wrapping versus PPF and various other ways of protecting your precious investment when you're driving it down really scratchy tracks. Now, I've also replaced the suspension, specifically the shocks or the dampers, as well as the springs front and rear. That is so I've got a slight suspension lift and the vehicle is better able to carry the heavier load it is now standard with, as opposed to its lighter original weight. And I've also put a GVM upgrade in as well. At the back we've got the trigger point service body, opened that up, and I've just gone for a simple system where it's just all completely open, but I've got a lot of these tie down rails, so these things come out like that. You can move them around, so I can put whatever I want there. There's even some at the top and at the side, so the table can sort of live permanently there. Don't have the roof rack on, but when I do, the shovel will be going up there. And around here we've got USB charge points. I'm going to put a basket over the top. We've got our charger over here, and then there's a 100 amp hour battery, so I do like that. And that's got lights here, and then there's a couple the other side as well. So we've got light going out this way, which you can see that goes from yellow, white and back again, and a light coming in internally. And then we've also got storage here, which I'm just going to use for recovery points. Again, people will often put a air compressor here, but I don't need to do that because I put it around the seat. Now, at the back we've also got a work light, so if you look around the back there you can see that the work light goes on and off, and that's switched just here, so that's handy when you just want more light at the back or you're backing something up. Ford built-in tow bar. Ford have done a really good job of building in the tow bar, and they've just got infills around here. We've got a trundle here which pulls out like that, so we can put tools and stuff there, and then this becomes a table, lifts up for a bit more storage and goes down. You can move these dividers around. We'll talk more about that later on. This is basically just a slam shut, and the OEM camera is retained, so that's right there, so you don't lose any functions. Added an Anderson plug at the back, and round here we got now, previously what I've had at the back is a water tank, but I haven't done that. I've opted for the trundle drawer for storage. That means I need another solution for water, and this is it. 20 litre can. I've just added some food grade hose over here, and that will drop down just by gravity. If I need more than 20 litres, we just put another one there or wherever else, and then we keep building it up that way. So overall storage I'm very happy with as well. Okay, now what we're going to do is take a look inside. Okay, so inside we've got fitted mats here, which I do recommend, because rather than the standard mats, they just fit so well, and then you know, they just take care of coffee or sand or mud or whatever else you've got. We've also got a fire extinguisher bolted in, which I do recommend. You don't often need to use a fire extinguisher. When you do, you're really happy with it. Now, this vehicle is what I call an XLT Plus spec, because we have added in these coffee cup holders and also the glove box from a Wild Track. It's not actually a Wild Track, this is an XLT, but that fits in, so extra storage space. We only did that this morning, that's why there's nothing in there. All right, now I'm going to go around the other side. Now this is for a UHF radio. I just added this bolt in here that pops in like that, and then that doesn't go anywhere, so you can easily grab your UHF radio and then just leave it there. Speaking of UHF radios, here is the GME UHF radio, and that's the in-car unit. So normally that sits there as a magnetic mount, but if the passenger's using it a lot, then they can put it over there as well. So either which way, and I don't mind drilling into the dash. It's only just a bit of trim, so that's a nice secure mount. I've also got the Bluetooth connection on it, which I'll be talking about more later on, but that does give me the push to talk, so I can just push this button and then talk as if I had pressed that. So it's quite handy to be able to just drive along and just press that button and push to talk, which is nice. This is the air locker switch, which is carefully recessed here, so you can easily get to it, but you're not necessarily going to accidentally touch it. We've got tyre pressure monitoring over here. here, dash cam over here, and actually Ford have got, on this model anyway, a USB outlet up here, which is what is powering the dash cam. Over here I've just got a printout of the UHF channels, because I'm always forgetting which ones we can use or not, so just printed that out. I've left a copy of that for my Patreons. And then I've also got additional phone mounts, and these are just click-ons here and here. This one, well, this is a click, that's a click-on. That one bolts into this point after a bit of extra drilling out and filing it did anyway. And the reason I've got that is because if I'm in the car, I may not necessarily have my own phone or the phone that I want connected to Android Auto, or if I do, then often I run one map for detailed work, what I'm doing, and then also a wider contextual map, so then I've got the ability just to put phones out of the way and charge them and have different things running on them if I need it. But a lot of the time, certainly for round town driving, I just use Android Auto. It's really when I go off-road I want that extra capability. Now here we've got the Ford switchback, which is an option for Ranger. This one does the driving light, so that's easy to get to. I can just reach up and I don't need to look at it, so it's nice and tactile. It's the closest one, so that's easy. This one switches the compressor on and off. It's the opposite, and those four are at the moment not yet used. Now we all know that weight's a very important part of modifying a vehicle, so as soon as I got my vehicle I weighed it, absolutely stock standard, and then since then I have kept a very detailed log of all the weights added to it. So for example, I can tell you that a bull bar, the 32-inch LED, the front bash plate, recovery points, had to remove 16 kilograms to put all of that on, added 82, so that's a net of 66. And yes, I do know the front and rear axle loads. The tyre change added a total of 35 kilograms all round as well. So I've got all of those weights. I won't be going through it in this video. I'll be going through it in another video in due course. Now this is where I track all my weights, so I can put different configurations in, and you can see that changes the margins to front, rear axle loads and GCM. And over here I can select what options that I've got added, and then I can decide whether they're fitted or not to the vehicle. So for example, if I take the service body off, that changes things. I put it back on, then we add more weight. So you'll see more on that later on, particularly if you are one of my Patreons. So I hope you found that video useful. Like I say, we'll be doing more detailed look at each of these accessories in turn, talking through the pros and the cons, but that's just a quick overview for the moment.